In today's video, what I want to do is I want to go over every single operator and talk about how I would rework them or change a few things to make the operator usable and just more enjoyable. Now, of course, before the video starts, if you guys disagree or you want to add on to my points or give me your opinions on each operator, go down in the comments and let me know. But besides that, let's get right into it, guys. Now, I feel like going from the new attackers over would probably be the best way to start this. In my opinion, Grim is one of the most underwhelming operators that's ever been released in Siege. Now, the very first thing I would do with Grim is I would change his launcher to an under barrel for his primaries. Now, the reason I would do this is so you can just click a button and it would be a lot faster pulling out, so you can actually shoot the bees. Also, what else I would do is I would make it so the bees can go through walls and go from each side, if that makes sense. Next, with Sense. Now, Sense got their gun buffed recently, which is cool, but what I would do with Sense is I would make their wall either slow the enemy or hurt them by a tiny bit as they stay into the wall and have, you know, almost like a vulnerable ability since they're walking through it. You don't get penalized when you walk through the walls, and it's very annoying, especially because it's, you know, you can shoot through it. Now, with Osa, the thing is, like, I feel like Osa doesn't need anything changed with Osa. I feel like their shield is amazing and their guns are good. Same with Flores. I think Flores is just an overall well-rounded operator, and there's nothing that needs to be changed. Now, with Zero's a very weird operator because he's so good. So what I would do with Zero is I would change the capacity in which his cams zap. You know how Maestro cams zap? I would maybe do that with Zero cams, or I would give it maybe 5 little zaps to shoot consecutively before it cools down and you have to basically reload it or let it, you know, come back and, you know, recharge. With Ace, he's one of the most well-rounded hard breachers, especially for casual players. One thing that I would like to see, though, you know how he has 3 different Ace charges which can only make 2 holes? It would be cool if you were able to throw them horizontally instead of just vertically. I wish you could do that. That would be really cool. Now, Jana's a very strong operator, but, you know, if I were to make anything more viable in terms of her cloak and her gadget, maybe you can make her have her own cloak and then kind of like push out, kind of like a Yoyo clone in Valorant. That's the only thing I can see change. Besides that, Jana, she's great, man. Now, with Kali, this is a huge one in my opinion. You know, in Modern Warfare 3, like the old Call of Duty, there was a scope that was a hollow and like a 2x scope. I feel like they should do that with Kali's sniper rifle, because Kali's sniper rifle is very underwhelming pushing. You have to hold very long angles, and the reload takes so long when you're cocking back the bull. So what I would do is I would put the 1.5x scope on Kali and be able to swap in between scopes whenever I like, so I can take more close range gunfights. I would also maybe up the reload speed in between, you know, cocking the gun back, because it is a bolt action sniper. So it'd be cool if they up the speed like by a few milliseconds or even a second. I think Amaru is fine with everything she has now. Knock, I would really like to see the knock change where when you're in her cloak, when you go through gadgets, it doesn't deploy and you don't get hurt. Say like goo mines, EDDs, etc. I would also, since we're doing that, I would like to see her cloak time be down a little bit. So if she were to, you know, go in her cloak and go through an EDD, you know, her cloak time would be a lot lesser than what it is now, because it lasts pretty long. Honestly, with Gridlock, I would make her a 2 armor, 2 speed. I think overall her gadget and her loadout is just amazing. It's just, you know, she's so slow. Nomad, I don't think I would change anything else. Like, what else would you guys change, to be honest, with Nomad? I don't think I would change anything with Maverick either. The one change I would say with Finka was reviving herself when she's downed, and they added that in. So I think Finka has changed very well. Same with Lion. I think Lion's properly balanced at the moment. With Dokkaebi, I might switch out her primary weapon. I feel like the DMR is really good, but in Siege, most of the time you use ARs and guns with faster fire rate. So I would actually like to test maybe with the DMR, making it a 3-round burst weapon. I don't think we've seen a 3-round burst weapon in Siege, and it would be very interesting. I don't know much about guns, so I don't think that's really possible for a DMR, but once again, you can modify weapons. So I'm assuming you can do that. It'd be really cool just to see what happens with that. But once again, like, that's the only idea I can really think of when it comes to Dokkaebi. With Sophia, there's nothing wrong with Sophia. She's fine where she's at. With Ying, it would be cool if you can place glasses down, like 1 pair of glasses for your teammate, so they can also, you know, pick it up and take sight while you're yinging out. Besides that, I don't think there's anything else you can really do with Ying to really change up her utility or even her gun. I think it's unique, and you know, it's not the worst weapon. So with Jackal, I think there should be like a sniffing animation when he's finding someone's feet, because this guy definitely has a foot fetish. Fabana, I would like to see the bearing 9 maybe get a 1.5 times scope. I think that would be really cool. I think every single gun in Siege should have the 1.5 times scope. Yes, including every single defender. I know that would be overpowered, but it would be very enjoyable. Like, games are most fun when everything's overpowered almost. Like, you think about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, every single gun in the game was overpowered, and I had a ball playing it. Capital, I would maybe instead of him having a Capital bolt, once again, I would make his weapon have an under barrel, so there's less time taking out, you know, Capital bolts, and kind of like a, you know, a skeleton key. It just, the amount of time you have to placing your gadget in your hand, and you know, you leave yourself in a vulnerable state. It'd be very nice if the Capital bolt was like under the gun here, and you were just able to shoot it like a nomad charge. Blackbeard, I would completely rework Blackbeard. I think I saw a rework concept where Blackbeard lost his shield on his face and he got like a drone which you can scan people, kind of like Sova in Valorant. I think that would be cool. I think overall Blackbeard just needs a complete rework. I feel like him with his shield on his face, a lot of times it hurts more using him than not using him. With Buck, I would give him the ACOG back just because his weapon was just so prominent with that. You know, they took his nades away. Cool, that makes sense, but I would really like to see Buck with an ACOG. IQ, I would give her grenades back and maybe allow her primary weapon to have, you know, the IQ scanner instead of just the secondary. I feel like with the secondary, a lot of people don't want to really use IQ for the utility at that aspect, because then you're at such a vulnerable state. So it'd be really cool if you can kind of have it on the side, like almost like a heartbeat sensor, like how Modern Warfare 2 had back in the day. I don't really think I would change much about Blitz. What would you guys change about Blitz? Fuse is honestly in a perfect state in my opinion. Like, he has so many cluster charges. He is a 3 armor, but he also has overpowered weapons and, you know, vertical capacity. With Glaz, I would also give the bearing 9 you know, a 1.5 times scope, just so he can take closer, you know, gunfights. And you know, the bearing 9 is good now and his kit is overall good, but it's either that or I would give him the SMG 11 that Sludge lost, and then give him the 1.5 times scope on the SMG 11 as well. Montang, the only idea I had written down for Montang was so he can place his shield down and then leave the shield. Twitch, I think, is in a fine state. I think I would maybe swap out her F2 for another weapon, because I feel like a lot of players only pick Twitch because of the F2. Now, shout out to you guys that use her drones, but I don't know, swap around some guns. Just make it funky. Like, give somebody that's underpicked F2 and maybe give her a different weapon. I don't think I would change anything about Thermite. Thermite's a fine balanced operator. Ash, I would give her 1.5 times scope on the R4C or give her ACOG back. Yes, I'd like to have fun. Thatcher, there's really nothing I can really say about Thatcher. He does an amazing job. He's been nerfed. He's three armor now, but you know, overall he's still really good. Like, he's still a great pick. He does his job even with secondary EMPs. Like, his EMPs are still better. I don't think I would switch anything with Sludge as well. I would maybe, like, I know this is wild. Remember how I said I would want 1.5 times scopes? I want scopes on secondary weapons as well. Like, it would be more fun. Willis is one of the stronger defenders we've seen as a new operator, and I don't think I would change anything about her at this current moment. Same with the Zombie. Zombie's really amazing, and honestly, the Solus and the Zombie, Ubisoft did a really good job with these two operators because they have such good impact on a round. Thorn, I would give Thorn's primary a 1.5 times scope, just because, like, I feel like her gadget's very underwhelming. I don't really know what else I would do with her Thorn gadget. Like, what would you guys do to the Honeycomb? Because, like, I feel like it's such an underwhelming, like, gadget. Actually, you know what would be really cool, guys? If you can make one Thorn gadget be a slow. So whenever it goes off, it has a radius where it stuns everybody in the radius, kind of like an echo drone. And then maybe you can set explosive mode or a stun mode on the grenades. I feel like that can be very effective, and we haven't seen a trap like that yet. Thunderbird's fine where she's at. Aruni is definitely fine where she's at. Malusi is fine where she's at as well. I would not change anything about her. Oryx, he's fine where he's at. I can't, like, a lot of these defenders are really strong right now. Wamai, I would give him the 1.5 times scope back on the AUG. Goyo, I think Goyo is strong where he's at, and people just don't use him because I don't know. They don't know how to place Yoyo canisters, I guess. Warden, what I would like to see for Warden is being able to place 2 or 3 glasses. Actually, I'm going to say 2 glasses. Kind of like Rook armor that can be used once from stun grenades. That would be really cool. I'm saying only 2 or maybe even 1, just so you get the gadget and, like, you know, you get a burn in terms of a stun. I think I would give Mozzie the super shorty back, because Mozzie was so strong when he had the super shorty, and to be honest, Mozzie hasn't hit the same since, you know, he lost the super shorty. Cade, I would give him back the 1.5 times scope on his primary. That's it. Clash would be cool if you were able to place her shield down like a normal shield, and maybe you can run around. She becomes a 2 armor, you know, 2 speed when she does place her shield down. Alibi, the only thing I can say about Alibi is I really wish Alibi cloaks like her Prisma mines, they were able to, you know, have the same uniform and gun skins, but Ubisoft said it's something about their coding, which I don't know. So that's just mind-blowing. I wouldn't change anything about Maestro. He's amazingly strong. Vigil, I would give his primary the 1.5 times scope. Once again, it would be pretty powerful, but it would also be super fun. I think every defender should have a 1.5 times scope. Ella, give her impacts back. Like, just do it. Her primary has been nerfed out of the ground. Like, I just want impacts back. Goo mines, I think goo mines should be tweaked a tiny bit, so the more that it's in, the double that it takes out of you, but he should also get less legion mines, if that makes sense. So if you keep a goo mine in per tick, it just doubles. Mira, literally nothing I would change about Mira. Like, she's still so powerful, and change the aspect of Siege. Echo, I feel like Echo is one of the stronger defenders with him being now a 2 speed. So once again, nothing I would change about Echo. Maybe give him ACOG back, actually. Cav, Cav is just such an odd operator. Hear me out. I know this is wild, but what if they added throwing knives in Siege? And they gave it to Cav, and you were able to throw the knife, and once you hit somebody, it downs them. That's it. That would be really cool. Valkyrie, give her a 1.5 times scope. This is one of the strongest defenders in the game. Don't change anything. Bandit, give him the 1.5 times scope. Same with Jaeger. Give him the 1.5 times scope. It just makes sense. Chachanka, give him the 1.5 times scope and maybe up the rate of fire in his LMG, because it's pretty slow, and like I think he's a really strong operator. It's just people don't utilize him very much. It would just be very cool. Or you should be able to have a turret, like mount the turret with a shield on it, but be able to take it off the mount. That would be kind of cool. Capcan, I would literally not change anything about Capcan. Rook, just delete him. Doc, he is in a very strong place right now. He is fine where he's at. Pulse, give him the 1.5 times scope. And Castle, this is a rework concept that I saw. With Castle, you would be able to rotate in between sites, like pushing up the castle without completely ripping it down. On the flip side, what else I would like to see with Castle is when you make a hole in the castle barricade, it would make that exact hole. So for example, if you ash charge, it would make a tiny hole. If you breaching charge, it would make a hole as well. And I feel like it should take 2 pieces of utility to break a castle barricade. I know that sounds kind of wild, but I would at least like to test something like that on the TS. Mute, I think you should be able to place mute jammers like ADSs or Melusi devices, which meaning you can place them on walls, on the floor, and it changes the radius, because like when you place a mute jammer right now, it shows the radius, and it doesn't, the radius doesn't go vertically, if that makes sense. It only goes a little bit, but when you can place it now onto a wall, you're now able to cover more of that area. Smoke, I would give him the 1.5 times scope on the SMG-11, and yes, it would be overpowered, but once again, I think it would be super duper fun. Now, if you have a rework concept or just a gadget that you think should be added onto an operator, or even gun-wise, let me know down in the comments, guys. And if you made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video in some sort of way. I can tell I'm already going to get angry comments. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.